What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. I'm bringing this just as a really short video. I hope it will be short. And before I get into this, I want to let you know that I'm still working on the South Africa video that I had mentioned to you. Please just be patient with me on that, y'all. I did tell you that there will be other videos that I'll be producing in the interim. One of which was this one that I did on Monday, and I'm just not sure if I am releasing it because I did it on Monday, and there's references in it that are old now. I also was apologizing to because I started it on Monday, and then I was still working on it on Wednesday, and on Wednesday I made reference in the video making apology to my Tuesday audience for not producing a review of the finale of The Haves and the Have-Nots. So I don't know, but it's a piece on this new Rachel Dolezal thing. Anyways, whatever comment you want to leave about this video that we're doing now, if you want to let me know if you want me to release that video. I'm torn. Anyways, it's up to y'all. And I also had to come strong for my Christian brothers and sisters in that video too, because y'all know my videos go all over the place sometimes, you know, because everything is interconnected. Anyway, I don't know. Let me know. And, you know, depending on what you guys say, then I'll just, you know, then over the next 24 hours maybe. You know, it's Friday, so maybe this time tomorrow, depending on what type of response I've gotten from you guys, then maybe I'll release it or just scrap it. Anyway, I had to come with this, y'all, because this one just created itself. I wasn't planning to talk about this at all, but we keep getting inundated with it all day, every damn day, and I'm sick of it. And I just wanted to come to be a sobering voice for my people and to show you what's right in front of you. I always tell you, if you want to hide something, put it right out in the open. Nobody will see it. That's tried and true. You want to hide something, put it right out in the open. No one will see it. You got 100 million, lay it on your coffee table. Just tell people you have money. You see what I'm saying? They come to your house, they will not see that 100 million laying on the table. They won't see it. They're not going to see it. This is sickening for me for several reasons, because I've said to you guys over the years I've been doing YouTube videos that white people are obsessed with OJ. Obsessed. And if you're a white person watching this, instead of having a visceral reaction to this video, why don't you go, and I'll guarantee you views, especially if you're one of them click seekers, go and do a damn video about why y'all white ass is so obsessed with OJ as if he's the worst human being on the earth when he's one. And you only have speculation. None of us were there and saw him do it. And you have the biggest fucking racist cop ever known to humanity and a mountain of reasonable doubt. A law written by white people. So why don't you explain to all humanity that's not white why y'all, every single one of you, is so obsessed and upset over the OJ case. Please help us to understand that. I'm sure you will get millions. It'll probably be a viral video for you. You don't even have to give me a check. Because I'm sick of it. And to that point, everybody, their obsession is why they're bringing this up. This is to have tongues wagging. This is to bring it back out, to divert, to have a black face on all things vitriolic and, you know, something to point a finger at and to demonize, you see, when there is an endless, infinity, endless list of shit that they perpetrate around the earth all damn day, every day on all humanity. This was one white chick killed by who knows who, and they are fixed on this dude. Now let me tell you why this is ridiculous on its face. First of all, there's a thing called statute of limitations on there. It's called statute of limitations.
Huh?
That means that when it could be business, it could be civil, it can be criminal, whatever. And in the law, sometimes there's what's known as a statute of limitations, which means you got a certain amount of time to act on this. Otherwise, no court in the land will even entertain a lawsuit on it. In the case of murder, there is no statute of limitations. That means you can open up a case 50 years down the road, 150 years down the road. You say 200 years, doesn't matter. And you can bring that case before a court of law. But the law also has what is known as double jeopardy. Now, so in this case, if this was really a big deal, then we wouldn't be just hearing them leading their stories on every damn channel with this OJ bullshit. This is just because I always tell you, they need a fixed enemy because they don't like what they see in the mirror. Because they know they're the devil, and they know they're hateful, and they know they're the perpetrator of all evil on humanity for generations and centuries. So they always need something or someone to hate and something to be upset about, something to be offended about, something to be in a state of unrest and upset. They thrive on that. Do you understand me? I know this enemy. I know because I've used my time on earth wisely, and I continue to. So, here's what's ludicrous about it. There is no statute of limitations on murder. And he's already gone through a case where he was found not guilty. Back in the 1990s. Wait, fake British accent. Back in the 1990s. Can't say that without the British accent. You can't. You can't. The FCC will fine you. Anyway, but here's what makes this unique and interesting. Because if this was really a interview where he was confessing, and what really has got my hair up on my ass right now is TMZ. Because Harvey Levin, with his little short ass, he is like any other white person. He's obsessed with OJ. You have to have a certain reaction as soon as they mention his name. If they don't see that reaction, they start get ass hurt with you. I always tell you, if you want to piss them off, I don't care where you at or who they are. You want to piss them off, just walk in and say, OJ is a friend of mine, or he didn't do it. Just say anything positive about OJ. You'll see nothing but beat red faces in front of you. Just beat fucking red. Do you understand me? They know it's the damn truth. They know it. They know it. So OJ was acquitted. By the way, an acquittal is not the same as being found not guilty. So in the case of an acquittal, but actually it was not guilty because when the clerk read the verdict, it was, we find the defendant, OJ Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder, and they read the various legal statutes. Now, only way you can bring another case is if you have new evidence that is compelling. And any new evidence brought for OJ, they would definitely make it compelling whether it was or wasn't. Because I always tell you, they changed the rules in the middle of the game for us. You see? So if OJ was white, then they would have to look at it legally and see, does it really bring new evidence? But you just put any charge on him, they go, well, that's new evidence. That's new. We can bring, they could reopen the case. They could re-adjudicate the murder case. If this was absolutely a damn confession in this damn interview, which is how they're billing it on every damn network that I've seen it, if it was really a confession, prosecutors would be racing each other to the damn courthouse to file a motion of murder against him and reopen this case to charge him for the murder of these two damn people. So they're throwing you a red herring. There's nothing to talk about here. This man was found not guilty in a white fucking judicial system, trying to be prosecuted by a white bitch. She was not successful because you thought that you were going to come in there and give us a domestic violence case from years before the murder, which is what y'all ass do. So you just told on yourself. They thought that a domestic violence incident from years before the murder, when they were married, would be enough years later. Now they're not even married, to bring murder charges against this man, and then trump up fake evidence that at the very least left question in the minds of the fair-minded. The fair-minded. That's everybody else except for white people. That left doubt in the mind of fair-minded people You see? So, um, so you couldn't convict him. You couldn't. Not just him or anybody else that would have been on trial. It just happened to be him. You bring that same case the same way. It doesn't matter who's the damn defendant. It doesn't matter. You could not put him in fucking jail under California law because 2 weeks into the trial, maybe it was 2 weeks, Barry Scheck, who was the DNA guy on their side, on the defense side, put up a big ass cardboard, life-size cardboard cutout of the state law of reasonable doubt in the state of California. I remember it like it was yesterday because I watched every fucking day of that trial. And I'm a legal E. I love to know the law because that's how you beat this enemy at their own game, especially when it really counts. You got to know the fine print. And everything in that damn law, the way the law reads, the trial was over then, and they knew it. They knew it. But you had a black jury. And black people are sensible, no matter what you want to say about us. We know the truth because we are the people. And we are the arbiters of what is accurate about us, not you. So you had a black jury who looked at the evidence and said this. In fact, the jury foreperson, I remember the cameras were following her after they desequestered the jury. And they had her like in a driveway or something. And they were asking her, she goes, wait, this was not a domestic violence case. This was not a domestic violence case. This was a murder case. Because all white people heard was the 911 call from whenever they were together and saw the bruises of this heifer on whatever, and that meant murder. This is why you're dangerous, and that's why so many millions of our people are in jail right now behind fucked up ass white juries who should never be sitting in judgment of anybody on the planet Earth that doesn't look like them. Period. Because they don't have the capacity for fairness and righteousness. Their whole history shows that around the earth. You see? So you have to bring certain knowledge to certain situations in order to understand what it truly is that's sitting in front of you. You have to bring all the moving parts, all of it. All of it. Airplane takes off, it's got to have everything. 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 Because it is a self-contained entity once it leaves the ground. Period at the end. It's got to have its own water, it's got to have its own air, its own fuel, its own everything. Everything, everything, everything. It is not connected to humanity anymore, quite frankly. So, the question then becomes why? I always tell you the most beautiful things that comes out of the mouth of a child is the word why. Why? Why? That constant sense of questioning. Questioning. And I'm one who questions. Why? And why now? What's going on? What else should I be looking at? Because they keep throwing this OJ thing down my throat. Or at least in my face, because I'm over it. So, what you need to walk away from this video understanding is A, there's no statute of limitations on murder in this fucking fucked up asshole of Satan they call a country. That's first. Second of all, OJ is still black. Alright? And they don't care that he went to jail for the shit that happened in Vegas. That means nothing. That gave them a little bit of satisfaction, but they are vampires that seek blood. Vultures, you see what I'm saying? The ones that love to kick you when you're down, even. And spit on your grave, even. So, that wasn't really enough for them. So, if this was really an interview from 12 years ago, they claim it is, that he confessed to these damn murders, he would already be back in jail. Because in the first case, you had circumstantial evidence. Because you didn't have a murder weapon, you didn't have a confession, you didn't have a witness, you didn't have videotape. These are things, any of those things that I just named hypothetically that weren't in the first case, any one or any combination of those things would be considered new grounds for a new trial. Certainly a confession by the suspected killer. You confessed to this video would have aired like today, and tomorrow your ass would have been in a fucking federal indictment. So let us put this down, everybody. Put this down. Throw it out. And just, if anything, just start singing the praise of OJ when you're around fucking white people, just to piss them off. Because they're the ones that keep bringing this up, not us. We've been over it since the day they said, we the jury declare Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder on a person of Ronald Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson, etc., and read the statute numbers and shit. We were over it. And we're still over it. The only people that are still obsessing over OJ Simpson after all these fucking decades is fucking white people. That's it. That's it. Why don't you start focusing on Harvey Weinstein, where you have real victims and real evidence and all that shit, huh? How about you focus on that? Focus on that. And when they have people that have been heinous in the past, like Charles Manson, every damn weekend they were glamorizing him on Dateline ID or 2020 or OWN or some bullshit. Like every generation right now under the sound of my voice, no matter when the fuck you were born, knows who fucking Charles Manson is, because they romanticize their evil and demonize him as if he killed an entire race of people off, which is the shit that they've done and continue to do. This is one guy being implicated in a crime that nobody knows if he committed it or not. And quite frankly, the evidence is better, supports that he was not guilty. And at the very least, if he was, that then you had white devil ass police that tried to frame a guilty man. You understand? Because you had these timelines that simply didn't line up, and then they tried to introduce the idea of race. It wasn't race at all. It's just when they showed all them split screens on the day that the verdict came down, all the split screens had dumbass white people on one side and actual real live people who understood what they saw and heard on the other side. They were isolated, but it was also a revelation for me. Not that I needed it, but it was very, very sobering. Wow, look at how white people are reacting. And not just the ones I'm seeing on TV in split screens. It's all of them. Anywhere you go. All of them acted as if they were standing there and saw OJ do it. Which should be very concerning for the rest of us. Because it not only informs us about our brothers and sisters that have been sent to jail by their white asses who weren't famous over less evidence than what they claimed they thought they had in the case of OJ. You understand? It should not only inform us about that, but it should also tell us that we are dealing with a people who simply don't see reality the way that it absolutely is. That they are people willing to create a reality. To just pull reality out of their ass and say, this is reality. This is the truth. When it's not. I'm over it. At this point, I'm ready to fucking go and have lunch with OJ. It's worked me up to that point. Like, I was never a fan of OJ. I knew who he was. I could pick him out of a lineup, whatever. I would know him if I saw him at the supermarket. But I'm not a sports fan. I'm not into OJ Simpson. It's whatever, and I'm over it. In fact, the only thing that I was really struck by when the whole thing first started was the day that he had his preliminary hearing, and he goes, I declare, they said, how do you plead? And he goes, 100% not guilty. And I was just like, wow, OJ looks really great. I mean, I don't know if I'd even seen him in years. I don't know what I thought he looked like. But I just remember thinking that day, wow, that brother really looks fantastic. Wow. That was my only thought. And I will give you that the day of the little low-speed chase, the follow me on a tricycle chase, that looked really bad. But you have to believe, but like I always tell you all the time, everything doesn't have to be either or. Get out of that frame of mind of thinking in everything that you do in life. Forget this either or bullshit. And start looking to be able to identify when you're in the presence of both and. Both and. So it can look really bad that he was on the low speed chase, and Nicole was everything to me. And Nicole, and I hate the way he says Nicole. I hate it. All right, I'm probably gonna need a pill for that or something. Somebody come give me an injection. Nicole. Ugh. I'm gonna have to work through my own issue on that. But anyway, And, you know, AC Cali, and I got OJ in the back, and he's got a gun. And he's got a gun. I thought, this looks really bad. And I thought, well, I guess, because I didn't know anything at that point, I thought, I guess he did it. I guess he did it. And alas, he still could have did it. But for me, I've never been willing to stand in judgment of anyone on anything unless I know that's what happened. I know that's what fucking happened. Like, I know it. Like, I could never sit on a jury where, you know, the death penalty is involved or something, because I'm not willing to send someone to their death. And unless you have absolute 100%, like, somebody standing there recording and saw them do this crime or something, I have to know, because if not, then I'm responsible for that on judgment. And I'm not going to have that hanging over my soul or my salvation. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So I thought, well, this looks really bad. But then we got into the court case. And I finessed, y'all. You don't even know. Because I finessed. I had days where I would call in sick. I would do all kinds of little things to try and see every day of that trial. If I knew it was just going to be a day of legal wrangling, then, okay, that was easier. But if I knew the jury was in, it was going to be certain witnesses coming, I had to find a way to be off work. And I went through everything to watch this damn trial. You don't even know. Don't even know. But what's also true is that when the trial started and we began to see where it was going, I was worn down for the first many weeks of it, because like most sane people watching that trial, they were putting on a domestic violence case. I'm like, this is not about domestic violence. Get to the part of murder. Get to murder. Get to that. Get to that. But in the minds of white people, just to dirty up your name means you're guilty of anything else that we assign after we've dirtied you up. So not only did he kill these people, but it turns out he fucking killed Kennedy or some shit, if they say so, in their mind. Because remember, they're God. And whatever they say reality is, that's what it is. You understand me? So it was all this domestic violence bullshit. And then they brought in Chris Darden, the coon du jour. Do you understand me? And then their bitch ass talking about, well, Johnny Cochran played the race card. No, bitch. White people played the race card as soon as that white mole ass having bitch brought in fucking Chris Darden. Everybody saw it. Oh, now they're going to bring in the brother. Okay. You see, but hypocrites, they are the definition of hypocrisy. Look it up. Look up the word hypocrisy. The word hypocrisy, it will say a white person. That's all the definition. That's all there is. There's nothing else. You look up the word hypocrisy, it just says white person. That's it. Nothing else. You don't need anything else. Because they define hypocrisy. So they bring in this black dude to help prosecute as they whipping boy, they attack dog because they can't be angry at this black man and show their real white devilry. So they do it all the time. They've never stopped. So we'll do it through some dumb throwaway ass house nigga. And there's always one of y'all Christian motherfuckers ready to stand up and sit on the lap of massa. Period. So they did that. White people said not a fucking thing. But the fact that, again, black unity is also at play here, because that burns their ass. It burns their ass, because they're always in the position of us and them. Even if they're telling you to let things go, they've not let shit go. Because in their mind, OJ's verdict was black jurors trying to get back at them for what they did in the Rodney King verdict. Black folks we're not vindictive like that. I wish we were. I'm working on that. I'm working on that with my people. Trust me, I wish we were. But alas, we're not. So they're still in that, us, them. And this was, they thought, a gain, a victory for us. Listen, if you had shown us murder and proved it, black folks would have been just fine with that. No issue. Yep, OJ did it, y'all. He did it. Period. But you don't get to show us a fucking domestic violence case and then want us to take that as murder. And then you don't get to roll in fucking Pinocchio nose as Mark Furman. And he says, I assert my Fifth Amendment privilege. I assert my Fifth Amendment. And he looks like the fucking leader of the fucking KKK, the skinheads, and everything else. And we're supposed to take that? You're insane. But we know that. At least I do. Wait, I need something to drink, y'all. Hold up now. But as I started to say a minute ago, black unity was also a problem, or what they perceived as black unity, because it was a black jury, and Johnny Cochran was an eloquent, well-dressed black man at that, you see. And so in their mind, this jury only went with their verdict because OJ was black and, oh my God, he had black counsel. OJ can still be black, but if the jury had been white, they would have sat their ass down. They would have sat their ass down. Potentially. Potentially. And that might be giving them a compliment they don't deserve. And I definitely don't want to issue that. But potentially. And alas, the jury still could have been black, and all of OJ's representation could have been white. I would love to have been able to see what their reaction there would have been. You see, but the perception to them was that this was all that this was exactly what we've seen all the fucking time. White lawyers, white juries, white judges, we go to jail. And they know that. So this is why I always say the OJ case is so important, everybody, because if you weren't somebody who could pay attention, like myself, then maybe this should have been the moment that you should have been able to wake up and see the mask was off. Off. The mask was off. Some of y'all had to wait till Barack was elected, and then you finally saw the true devil. I don't know. But for me, the mask was off with OJ, with these damn people. It was off. It was off. Because I don't care if they Democrat, Republican, or Independent. They all one devil when it comes to your black ass. Period. So, they try to accuse Johnny of playing the race card on no grounds at all. Just because he's relating to the jury. Well, they relate to they fucking white asses all the damn time. Their little signals, their little looks, their little dog whistle statements, and all the bullshit. But again, we're not supposed to be entitled to any of that. You see? There's so many exposed, there's so many levels of their bullshit that's exposed here. If you're really paying attention. There's so many levels of their bullshit that's exposed. The raw nerve is right there. It's right there for all to see. And chief among them is their hatred and their hypocrisy. And then they bring in the coon du jour. This was early on. Early on. Why? Why? And ironically, and I've pointed this out, even with the what was it, Lifetime, whoever the fucking whoever whatever station is that did the People versus OJ Simpson. Notice that the dude that played the coon du jour, I will promise you, I didn't know that dude before that show. Everybody didn't know him, but you notice how their society has elevated him ever since that fucking special. Stop the video when I lie. Stop the video when I lie. That dude has been in my face since that damn special. Period. He was even just hosted fucking Saturday Night Live this past Saturday. I'm over it. He's everywhere. He even won an Oscar for some shit. I can't remember what it was for. I even told my sister, I go, this dude, because I've made this case to her. I'm like, you don't understand. Like, he played the fucking coon du jour, and look how they've elevated him. Like, that dude has been elevated. That's a sickness, everybody. He didn't just become this amazing actor overnight. And apparently he had a career before this. I didn't know him. I did not know him. But now he's everywhere. Everywhere. I even, there's a new show on something. Was it the one? I can't remember. Anyways, there's some, maybe it was Saturday, maybe it was, I don't know, there was something, anyways, where they made reference to him as in part of a joke. Like that, there's like, not, I'll give you an example. In other words, just to use somebody that everybody would know. So to use a familiar reference. I can't remember what they said or whatever, but I'll give you an example. If I go, I think it was something comedy though. So like if I said something like, yeah, they got me hanging up here, looking like I was on the grassy knoll or something. Like everybody would know the grassy knoll reference. Even though that's not what my topic is about or anything. If I make that reference, people know the grassy knoll. If you say Oswald, whatever or something. So his name was used in that way. I'm trying to show you how elevated they fucking elevated this dude after he played the fucking coon du jour. This is what we're dealing with, everybody. So while we are over OJ since they read the damn verdict, I suggest to you to be over it, but also go back and pay attention. Revisit if you need to, if you weren't paying attention. Because there was a roadmap and a revelation about this enemy for you. You see, I remember Oprah even did a show that day, I think, and she had the split screen going on. Everybody had a split screen. It was all split screens. Everywhere you look, it's a goddamn split screen. White people on one side looking like they just fucking saw the Hindenburg go down. And on the other side, black folks just rejoicing that justice had been served. Period. It wasn't OJ got off. Everything that we sat and watched and skipped work for and everything else, that was the verdict that should have been delivered. And if it hadn't, it would have been the usual more bullshit from white people in the justice system. This was actual justice based on the evidence. Because if he had been convicted, we would have said, nah, man, how you going to convict him on some domestic violence bullshit? They would have loved that. And speaking of paybacks, that's why Trayvon Martin was a payback for us. A murder committed at night. In the case of the OJ case, it was the barking dog. In the case of Trayvon Martin, it was who's yelling, whose voice is that? You see? They're giving you similar shit right there. But then, at the end of it, they gave you absolutely not guilty. And you had an all-female jury. Remember, the OJ jury was predominantly women. They gave you all white bitches. And then, you had the jurors speaking. So, as if George was one of their family members, like they fucking slept with them or something. Oh, it was Georgie, and it was Georgie. That, because they're still ass hurt about OJ Simpson. That's why they gave you the Trayvon Martin verdict. I promise you on everything holy. Because it's always us and them with these people. That's all. They're obsessed to a person about being better than, being greater than, being over everybody and all the shit. This is what I'm telling you what I know since I came to fucking Earth. Period. If my findings were something else, I'd share that. But this is the truth. I'm not going to tell you I was standing on Everest if I was standing on fucking Kilimanjaro. I don't need to. So the us, them. And it was that for them going in, now we see. Because they were very nervous that it was a black jury. And they probably would be jumping from buildings had the judge been black. Could you just imagine? Oh my God. The judge was in on it too, they would have said. Like they felt like they were they were personally wronged after this. Like, give me a damn break. Give me a break. Damn it. They rehashed this all back up, and you still don't have anything. Nothing. Because, like I say, you can't take somebody back into court and retry them just because you didn't get the verdict that you thought you should get. You can only take somebody back to court in a murder case because of statute of limitations. Otherwise, you're into double jeopardy. Only way you can take somebody back into the court is if you have new evidence. And as I said, somebody coming forth and saying, yeah, y'all, I did it. God damn it, I did it. That's immediate go to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Don't. Take your shit. But the obsession still continues. And I mentioned this to you back when the Bill Cosby case first broke. This was that again for me. They need a black enemy to demonize at all times. Doesn't matter when it is. You see that even to this day. Like, anytime that something goes on with this fake ass orange circus, they immediately start talking about Obama. Obama's been out of office for fucking over a year now. They still go back. And in 50 years, they'll still be talking about Obama. Because they always need some false equivalent to try to justify their inherent evil. Inherent evil. Inherent. Born evil. So I'm sick of it. But at the same time, I am not ignorant of its moving parts. I'm not. You know, is somebody going to try and sell a book? I don't know what's going on here. You know, that's the homework that I have to do now. Alas, that we all have to do. To figure out the why. Why is this being elevated now? Again. Why? Why? You know? Wow. This video is going a little longer than I anticipated, but I will tell you this. They had a special on, I don't know, a few weeks ago that I finally ended up watching. Because I had recorded it. But it was about the siege at Waco, Texas, the Branch Davidian religious group in the 1990s. And again, you had white savagery being displayed, white hypocrisy being displayed, white injustice being displayed. You understand? Because here you had a group of religious people, in quotations, who believed that this dude David Koresh was the Messiah. I'm over it. But fine. And they were on this remote compound somewhere out in Waco, Texas. And the ATF found out that they were supposedly stockpiling guns. This is a religious sect. And that was the reason for all this 51-day siege, where they ended up murdering the people at the end of it, burned them all alive in the damn thing, and try to make it seem like he's the crazy dude and all this. Well, I stand with him. And he was a white dude. But I stand with what is right. You understand? And so, forget that he claims he's the Messiah and all the bullshit. The fact of the matter is, anybody that lives on this fucking soil should be concerned and pay attention to that. And go back and educate yourself about that. Because the fact of the matter is, what was really going on behind the scenes is the ATF, their budget was up for renewal. And there was going to be cuts. This was the thing that they needed. And they brought in an army unlike anything that's ever been used on American soil against American citizens. Period. I mean, tanks, everybody. Black Hawk helicopters. And, I mean, it looked like they were invading Bosnia or something. But all this they brought in for their budget. And they lied to the then what you call the bitch? I know her name. I just can't remember what she's over. Secretary of Defense, Janet Reno. And they didn't tell her that the dude was planning to come out, because he had these 7 seals that he was writing about, a dissertation of the book of Revelations. And he was doing a dissertation of the 7 seals. And he was going to be, he had told them, I'll come out after I write these. You know. And they didn't tell her that part. But that doesn't really matter, because that's the same bitch with the whole Elian Gonzalez bullshit. And she looks like a man, and I'm over it. The bitch is a man. God damn it, I said it. Anyway. Matter of fact, you don't believe me, I'll Google the bitch for you right now. You'd be like, yep, that's a man. The bitch is a man. I'm over it. Anyways, and so you had 80-something people that were burned alive, and 23 children. The government did that. Their white government did that. And it's interesting, because at the end of the piece, I always tell, if you want to hide something, put it right out in the open. Nobody will see it. At the end of the piece, they were showing a press conference from one of these devils, claiming David Koresh killed these people. It's his fault. Now, mind you, they had gassed the place with several hundred gas containers over the course of the last hours or days of this thing. Hundreds of these containers. One guy said even just the material even being exposed to your skin causes great pain and all of it. And as the credits were rolling, because they keep putting a thing up there saying, you know, there's graphic images and viewer discretion and all the bullshit. So as the credits are rolling, they were showing footage of the aftermath. You know, the place is burned to ashes now. And I saw a skull. And that obviously had been burned. Somebody had been burnt. But I noticed that the teeth were together. The teeth were together. And that told me everything that I needed to know. Because I know that if I'm gassed to death, I'm going to be choking for air. At some point, I collapse and my jaw will come together. It's just the natural movement of the muscles. Your mouth closes. If you meet somebody and their mouth just stay gaped open, get your shit and run. So I'm saying, if you're a female, get your purse. Girl, get your purse. Run. Get your shit. So I'm saying. But if you are in fire, your mouth would be open because you'd be gaping for air, but you'd also be screaming out in pain. The fact that this skull was there, the remains of this person, and the teeth were closed, told me they were already dead at the time of the fire. Period. So you already had people in there that had been gassed to death because they had cordoned off the place for miles. The media was using telephoto lenses and everything. You couldn't get near the place, so they controlled the information and the scene. So they had gassed these people to death, and then they had torched the place and burned them all alive, just so they could get their fucking ATF budget. And oh, by the way, one of the people that was down there protesting the ATF was Timothy fucking McVeigh, who they claim blew up the building in Oklahoma. Which, that's also more bullshit. I don't know how I got off into this. But white lies lead to another one, because that's all they are. But claim that he blew up the Oklahoma building, which is another lie. Because they did the same thing to that they did on 9/11. Government does it, gives you a patsy. Period. And the things that they both have in common is they were trying to get a terrorism bill passed through Congress at that time. And they weren't able to get it. Soon as the fucking Oklahoma shit happened, the legislation passed. You see? So that's why I say, even now, in this case of OJ, we have to be questioning why now. Why are they putting this on the front page? Why is this such a big story? Why? Why? What else are they doing? What else is being cooked up that this is the diversion from? You know, what else? You know, this is at a time when you have Black Panther out there, which was very conspicuously released in Black History Month. Don't even get me started on that. And is it that, you know, maybe the people are having too much fun about this alleged black hero, so let's bring up, I don't know. Because it can be from the most petty to the most sophisticated. But everything needs to be on the table. Everything needs to be on the table. But I'll say lastly, as I keep trying to say, and I'm going to say it now and be over it, what you need to leave this video with is this. Double jeopardy, statute of limitations, and red herring. Because there's no statute of limitations on murder, the only way you can bring another case against this man without it being double jeopardy is you have to have new evidence. If this interview was him confessing, they claim it's a lost interview where he confessed. First of all, if he confessed, it would have been lost. That's first. But they claim it's a lost interview where he confessed. If he confessed, that would be new evidence. That's clearly grounds to bring somebody back to trial on a case without it being double jeopardy under murder. Pure at the end. And it's not. You see? But those same white people, because they, like I say, they live and die. They're born, live, and die just like everybody else. But their evil is one continuous, infinite line of evil. So they don't ever change. So those same people are sitting on juries, and they're police officers, and they're judges, and down the list you can go. And I'm sure that some of them, many of them, have taken revenge on some of our brothers and sisters in cases they've sat on because they're still pissed off about the OJ case. This is sick. This is how sick-minded they are. And demon-possessed. You see? Well, you can't really be demon-possessed if you are the demon. So, strike that. Alright, so just demon. Don't give this any energy other than what you've given it to hear this information, quite frankly. And let this be an opportunity for your own eyes to be open if they were shut, to begin to see the enemy of our people for what they really are. You know, this was the 1990s. This is 2018. You need to ask yourself, why are they still obsessed over this man? Why? Why? These are the same people that tried to make you think that Michael Jackson was a pedophile. The only reason why they backed off that to the degree that they have, not they've completely backed off at all. The only reason why they've backed off to that to the degree that they have, and haven't gone full tilt on it like they did on OJ, because they couldn't get enough of your black asses to go along with that. They couldn't. But when you have coked out, cracked out bitches like that man-ass bitch Wendy Williams, who sits up there and says what she said about him, she's also been on board with the Bill Cosby thing. When nobody's even thinking about it, she always makes sure you look at the camera and go, we still haven't got about you, Bill Cosby. Well, you know what, bitch? Karma didn't forget about your drugged out, punked out ass. You man-ass bitch. That's why the bitch is off her show right now. Oh, she's going down, everybody. She's going down. She's going down. And they're going to love tearing her down. It's about to all come out. The bitch is on drugs. Oh, it's coming out. Now, it's all coming out. It's all going to be revealed. It's all going to be revealed. I don't know how this went from OJ to this, but again, evil is one consistent line. You know, it's all connected. Because you're dealing with the same entity of evil. So whether it's OJ, or it's Bill Cosby, or it's Michael Jackson, or anybody. Plus, the other thing you have with Michael Jackson is, you know, all these, Bill Cosby and OJ Simpson are not global icons. Michael Jackson was the most famous human being to ever walk on this planet we know as Earth, period. Not even prophets from God can make the claim. That is a statement of fact. He was the most famous human being ever known to humanity, and the greatest entertainer the world has ever witnessed. So it's a little harder. It's a little harder. It's a little... Plus, we've known Michael since his childhood. We ain't known Bill Cosby since his childhood or OJ. No, we know the character of Michael, so you're going to have to bring something else, homie. And oh, by the way, it was all white people in fucking Michael's jury. The one dude that was black that was pissed that he wasn't able to be on the jury was an alternate juror. So he wasn't even on the jury. So it was white folks that said Michael was not guilty. Understand that. And that's only because the hand of God touched the life and the heart of that man. And when God touches the life and the heart of anything and protects anything that He's created, nothing can touch it. So let us not believe that there was some benevolent white people who want to do the right thing about Michael Jackson. You see, know that God has the ability to make your enemy your footstool, to make your band of two appear to be an army of thousands to your enemy, and so on and so forth. So that's what was in control there. You understand? This is why they weren't able to ever find anything on Obama, because he was touched by the Creator, sent, destined to be. And He endowed him with everything that he needed in order to be successful in his endeavor. Period. But we're still facing the same enemy. The same enemy who is sending Craig and Leroy and Kareem and them to jail right now as I speak to you over the same type of bullshit they were trying to send OJ to jail over. But their cases are not televised, and they're not the trial of the century, and there's not celebrity lawyers involved in all of it, and it's all done in secret. It's been white grand juries that have not indicted any of these murderers with badges that have murdered our people over the last several years, and indeed the decades, quite frankly, but speaking specifically about the ones of recent history. This is what we're dealing with. So while we're over OJ, we always need to keep one eye open when they speak about OJ. Now, in 2018, we still got to hear about fucking OJ and these fucking white people that he allegedly killed. Allegedly, definitely. We're supposed to believe that he was able to come in and he's going to kill Nicole, and he's apparently psychic because he just would know that there's possibly going to be another person there, which according to them, Ron's being there was totally coincidental. She just left her glasses at the restaurant, which I never believed. I never believed that. And not that he left them at the restaurant, she left them out. They were down in the curb, y'all, off the sidewalk at night. We're supposed to believe that what was he doing out there? And you just see a pair of glasses and you just know that they're Nicole's and you got to go take them to her house? That never sat right with me. But who cares why he was there? You know, only them two know that. Her and Nicole, him and the Nicole chick and the dude. But then we're supposed to believe that he goes and he kills these two people, gets no wounds except for possibly the thing on his knuckle, which still is not consistent because you've got gloves that you claim this white devil found there at the crime scene. That means one of those gloves should have a fucking knuckle that's cut out of it or some damage to the knuckle, and it's not. So after I saw that, I didn't give a damn how he got the cut on his finger. He said he cut it on a glass in a hotel room. I believe him. Unless you're going to show me a glove with a holy knuckle on it, or where a knife went through a holy knuckle, or something like that. So then it began to shape up more likely that no, he didn't do this. And when we realized that they weren't even married at the time, it hadn't been for years, and had been separated forever, lived in different parts of the city. He wasn't even the person to be notified. They didn't call up her parents. They didn't call up her sisters, her grandma, anybody. No. Let's go straight to OJ's house. All of that, we're supposed to just take that, because they do. Well, I don't. And goddammit, the final word from the Jedi is OJ didn't fucking do it. Take that, bitches. The Jedi has spoken.